He was born into privilege. Private planes, tailored suits, and a surname that unlocked every door before he even reached for the handle. Yet beneath the surface, he was unraveling, flunking every exam, suffocating in his own isolation. Teachers gave up on him, peers dismissed him, even his father turned away. Until one day, in the quietest corner of the school, a janitor, a black woman no one ever truly noticed, spoke words that struck him deeper than any classroom lesson ever could. He thought she was just sweeping floors. He didn't realize she was about to sweep away everything he thought he understood. His name was Ethan Carter, the only child of William Carter, a tech mogul whose name appeared on Forbes' cover as often as the seasons changed. Ethan grew up amid private jets, personal chefs, and birthday parties attended by A-list celebrities. But for all his wealth, one thing was absent: purpose. At 17, he attended an elite private high school in Atlanta, not because of his merits, but because the Carter name was a golden pass. No entrance exams, no interviews, just a bank transfer and a reputation that spoke for itself. In those marble corridors adorned with portraits of distinguished alumni, Ethan was known for three things: his arrogance, his designer wardrobe, and his academic failures. His grades were laughable. Teachers passed him not for his work, but out of fear. He didn't care. Why should he? One day, he'd inherit a fortune. What could a report card do that his last name couldn't? He scoffed at teachers, ignored classmates, and smirked through lessons as if they were beneath him. During a meeting with the school counselor about his dismal grades, Ethan leaned back and quipped, "I could buy this school if I wanted. What's a grade going to change?" The remark spread like wildfire, but no one dared challenge him. Faculty and students alike treaded lightly around Ethan. No one wanted to jeopardize the Carter family's donations. At home, things were no better. His father, William, was a man of steel cold, calculated, a self-made billionaire who despised excuses, even from his own son. "You're an embarrassment," William said one evening after yet another call from the school. "If you were my employee, you'd be gone." Ethan folded his arms, rolling his eyes. "I'm not your employee. I'm your son. The world doesn't care," William shot back. "Either you make something of yourself, or you'll just be another rich kid with a name and no backbone. I won't carry you." The silence that followed was like a slap. William meant every word. The next day, Ethan strutted into school as if nothing had happened. He pulled into the faculty lot in his sleek Audi, a birthday gift, and sauntered through the halls like a fashion icon. Some students gawked with envy, others with disdain. But one pair of eyes didn't flinch. Hers belonged to an older black woman, likely in her 50s, mopping the floor near a side entrance. Her posture was straight, her gaze calm but sharp. Her uniform was worn, but her presence was undeniable. Ethan didn't see her. To him, she was invisible, just a janitor. Background noise. But the weight of school began to crush him. More tests, more failures. Then came the real blow. His father cut off his credit cards, took his car, and forced him to ride the school bus like everyone else. One chilly morning, as he trudged past the janitor in the hallway, he noticed her muttering something while cleaning. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. Ethan froze. "What did you just say?" She looked up, unfazed. "Nothing you're ready to hear, boy." He laughed it off, but her words lingered, sharp and unsettling. She walked away as if the exchange meant nothing, but Ethan couldn't shake her. He climbed the school steps, hands buried in his jacket pockets, the usual swagger gone. Everything felt colder, smaller. That morning, he got back his literature test in a plain envelope, folded with finality. He expected a low C, maybe a pity grade. Instead, 18/100ths, with a note scrawled at the bottom. Did you even read the text? Ethan stared, laughed nervously, glanced around. No one laughed with him. The week brought more blows. Math, 24%. History, 31%. Biology, a flat 0. It wasn't amusing anymore. The counselor summoned him again, her tone no longer soft. Ethan, you're at risk academically, not behavior failure. You're at the bottom of the senior class. It's temporary, he shrugged. I'll get a tutor. You've had 3. They all quit. That silenced him. Later, leaving her office, he slipped out the back entrance to avoid eyes. There she was again, the janitor, cleaning a soda spill near the cafeteria. She glanced at him, offered a polite smile. He stopped. You said something about Play-Doh last time. She stood slowly, wiping her hands on her apron. You remembered? Yeah, it stuck. Kind of odd for a janitor to quote philosophers. She folded her arms. Odder still for a boy with everything to fail a simple reading test. He winced. That one stung. You were a teacher, weren't you? Not just philosophy. I taught plenty before life knocked me down. Teach me then, he said. Please help me. She studied him. One condition. Leave your name and ego at the door. Start from nothing. Fine, he whispered. I can't keep failing. The next morning, Ethan arrived before dawn. The school was still, cloaked in fog and quiet. He walked through the back entrance, clutching the notebook she'd given him like it was a lifeline. He found her Miriam in the east wing, polishing the floor with steady, deliberate strokes. She wore earbuds, humming softly, maybe a gospel tune. Ethan hesitated, then stepped forward. You said you'd teach me, right? Miriam paused, removed an earbud, and met his gaze. I remember. I also said it wouldn't be easy. I don't care. I need this. Then let's start. First, my name, Miriam Brooks. Ethan gave a faint smile. How long you been here? 3 years. Before that, other schools. Before that, she paused, locking eyes with him. I was a college professor. English literature and philosophy. His jaw dropped. Why'd you leave that for this? Miriam folded her cloth slowly, her voice steady. Sometimes life strips away everything you thought was yours, leaving only what you know. And I still know how to teach. Ethan nodded awestruck. For the first time, he saw strength without power. Where do we start? I tried reading last night. I don't even know how to begin. That's the first truth, she said. Pride tricks you into thinking you know. Admitting you don't, that's when real learning begins. I can read, Ethan muttered, defensive. I didn't say you couldn't. I'm talking about understanding what's beneath the words. She pulled a worn notebook from her bag. Every morning before class, meet me here for an hour. Every evening after I clean, you write. What you learned, felt, understood. No grades, just truth. Ethan opened the notebook. Blank pages, a challenge, an opportunity. What if I fail again? Then you're finally getting it right. Days turned into a rhythm, almost holy. Ethan arrived early. Miriam greeted him with questions, not fanfare. What did that line make you feel? Why did this character stay silent? What does courage sound like? She didn't lecture. She provoked. Ethan began to see differently. Books stopped being tasks. Sentences stirred his soul. He filled the notebook, not with answers, but with thoughts, fears, reflections. He wrote about his father, the pressure, the emptiness that gnawed at him. Miriam read every word. One night, in the cafeteria, 2 boys passed by, laughing. One, Ryan, a football star, nudged his friend. Look at Carter, writing poetry for the janitor. Ethan tensed, ready to snap, but Miriam's hand on his shoulder stopped him. You don't measure depth with a shallow stick, she whispered. He looked at her, and the insult lost its sting. Later, a message from his father arrived. They updated your record. Last warning. Fix this, or you're cut off. No trust fund, no apartment, nothing. Ethan stared at the screen, but for the first time, he wasn't scared. He felt ready. Friday buzzed with end-of-term energy report cards, college talks, graduation plans. Ethan walked through the crowd, clutching a folder of redone assignments, essays with praise, and a draft titled The Illusion of Power, written at Miriam's urging. He'd never been proud of schoolwork before. Maybe his father would be too. But when he reached the office, William Carter stood by the window, in a crisp gray suit, glued to his phone. You're late, William muttered. Let's make this quick. The counselor, visibly nervous, handed over Ethan's report. William snatched it, scanning the grades better, not perfect, but paired with glowing teacher comments. Shows initiative, engages actively, transformed attitude. William snapped the folder shut. This is progress? Ethan exhaled. I'm trying. Really trying. With who? William pressed. Your last tutor quit. Ethan hesitated. Miriam, the janitor. Silence. William gave a sharp, humorless laugh. You're joking. She was a professor. She's teaching me more than any tutor you paid for. William stepped closer, voice icy. You're shaming this family, wasting time with someone who has nothing to give. She sees me. You never did. William's eyes narrowed. Keep this up, and you lose it all: car, money, name. Don't test me. Ethan's words burned. Maybe I need to lose it all to find out who I am. William walked away without a word. The next week, Ethan was quieter, angrier, but unbroken. Classmates noticed. Teachers, too. Rumors swirled. Some said he was fixated on the janitor. Others mocked him openly. Ryan shared a video of Ethan with Miriam after hours, captioned, Lessons from Losers. Ethan didn't waver. Instead, he printed his essay and pinned it to the school's reading board. Learning, Dosen. Make me weak. Ignorance does, Ethan Carter. The paper vanished the next day, but its message had taken root. Monday brought a quiet calm. The rain had stopped. The sky was soft gray. Ethan entered school early, a coffee in one hand, notebook in the other. He found Miriam mopping near the old science wing. She glanced up, eyebrow raised. Coffee? A peace offering? He handed her a cup. And something else. She studied him. You've got that look like you're about to say something big. Ethan sat on the floor, notebook in hand. I looked you up. Not creepy, I swear. You quoted Plato. Teach like a pro. I found an article Miriam Brooks, tenured professor at the University of Chicago, guest speaker, published author, award winner. Her eyes closed briefly. That woman existed. She just doesn't get invited back. What happened? Miriam leaned on her mop. I exposed a plagiarism scandal, a powerful dean. I refused their bribe. They pushed me out quietly, permanently. Then my husband died in a car accident on his way to a conference I planned. Ethan swallowed hard. You lost everything. Except my mind, she said softly. And my voice. He nodded. I want a deal. Teach me like I'm one of your college students. Don't hold back. I want to be someone not for my name, for what I do. She studied him, seeing something new in his eyes, not arrogance, but hunger. And your part, I won't quit. No matter how hard, I'll fail, rewrite, relearn, whatever it takes. She extended her hand. Deal. They shook on it, no contracts, just truth. That week, Miriam crafted a plan not for tests, but for understanding. Ethan read Ellison, Wright, Walker. He wrote reflections, not essays, questioning systems, injustice, himself. Each night, he gave her a notebook of thoughts. Each night, she returned it with deeper questions. The school didn't notice. To them, Ethan was still a work in progress, but something bigger was brewing. Days later, Ethan brought a classmate, Annika, to evening study. She needs writing help, he said. Miriam smiled. Looks like we've got a class. More students joined, quietly. Word spread. Someone was teaching, not judging. The old library became their secret classroom. They read, wrote, debated, wept. It was beautiful, dangerous. One afternoon, Miriam was called to the office. The assistant principal's voice was cold. Parents are concerned. Why are students meeting with janitorial staff after hours? I'm teaching, Miriam said simply. You're not certified here. It's not your role. She met her gaze. Neither is saving a kid's life, but I did that too. The assistant principal had no reply, but Miriam knew the end was near. Ethan learned the next day. They told you to stop? Yes. That's insane. You're helping. I know, she said, but systems don't fight what's broken. They fight what works. Ethan's fists clenched. I'll tell my dad. I'll go to the board, the press. Not yet, she said firmly. Your voice needs to stand alone, not as a Carter. He nodded, understanding. Winter settled over Atlanta, cloaking mornings in fog and stillness. The halls grew darker, but inside Ethan, a light flickered. One morning, Miriam met him in the deserted library. She sat him down, hands folded over a book. It's time I tell you what no one teaches, Ethan leaned in. I'm listening. The secret isn't grades or diplomas, it's transformation. Most learn to pass, to survive, to parrot answers. But real change happens when something inside breaks and rebuilds stronger. She handed him a worn book, blue binding frayed. Narrative of the Life by Frederick Douglass. It saved me when I lost everything. Ethan opened it, seeing her handwritten notes. You're giving me this? I'm trusting you with it. Why me? Because that day I saw you, you weren't arrogant. You were drowning. And something in you wanted to live. Ethan clutched the book. I'll read every word and write something real. Not for me, for you. She stood, grabbing her mop. Next time someone asks how school's going, don't say you're improving. Say you're becoming. He sat there long after she left, the book heavy in his hands, his chest full, not with fear, but meaning. He didn't want to pass anymore. He wanted to matter. You could see the change in Ethan's walk, not a prince, but someone awake. His clothes were the same, but his eyes held focus, not emptiness. Teachers were baffled. The smug heir was now asking questions, writing full essays, joining group work. In history class, he raised his hand. "Can we discuss how the textbook skims over slavery like it's nothing?" The room stilled. The teacher hesitated. "Where'd you hear that?" "Douglas Ellison and a woman who knows how to teach." No one knew how to react, but no one forgot. Ethan began seeing others, the quiet girl alone in the cafeteria, the kid working 2 jobs yet always on time, the teacher whose brilliance went unappreciated. He realized when you learn to see, you notice how many are unseen. Each day with Miriam was steady mornings of probing questions, evenings of writing. He wasn't just improving grades. He was building a self. His essays grew personal, political, powerful. Miriam marked them with tough love red ink, sharp notes. "Don't just say it, mean it. This is pretty but empty. Rewrite with your soul." Ethan rewrote over and over, caring less about opinions, not from arrogance, but from knowing who he was becoming. One afternoon, he brought another classmate to study, then another. Soon, the library was a quiet revolution. Miriam taught groups of 5, 6, 10 students after hours. They weren't just learning to write, they were learning to think. Books became sacred. Quotes were battle cries. "If you are silent about your pain, they'll kill you and say you enjoyed it." Gwendolyn Brooks. "The function of freedom is to free someone else." Maya Angelou. These weren't study sessions. They were awakenings. But not everyone approved. One rainy day, Miriam was summoned to the office. "We've had complaints," the assistant principal said. "You're gathering students outside your role. I'm teaching. That's not your job." "Maybe it should be." Miriam left, her posture unbroken. The next morning, Ethan learned they'd stopped her. "They're scared," she said. "Of what?" "Of someone powerless teaching students real power. I'll speak out. I'll call my dad. Go public." "Not yet," she said, hand on his shoulder. "Your voice needs to stand alone, not as a Carter." He nodded, jaw tight. The storm was near. It came faster than expected. Ethan walked into the garage after school, soaked from rain, holding a paper with a bold red eye, his first, titled "The Courage to Unlearn." His teacher's note, "You found your voice." He wanted to show his father, not for praise, for truth. William stood by a new electric sports car on a call about mergers. "Dad," Ethan said, holding out the essay, "look at this." William scanned it, unimpressed. "This is a diary entry, not academic. It's about growth." William tossed it aside. "Who taught you to write like this?" "Miriam, the janitor." Silence. William's voice turned cold. "You're learning from someone who cleans floors? She was a professor. She's done more for me than you. If you don't stop, you lose it all: money, car, name." Ethan trembled. "Maybe I need to lose it all to find myself." William stared, then ordered, "Pack your things, you're done." The next day, Miriam was gone, fired without warning, escorted out. Her bucket, her coat, gone. Ethan searched the halls, breathless. His grades slipped, not from ignorance, but from loss. The library stood empty. Then he saw the bulletin board, senior speech contest. Topic: what it means to win in life. Ethan stared, went home, and wrote all night, not for grades, for her. The contest announcement was bold at the school entrance, open to families and community. Scholarships, recommendations, recognition. For most, it was routine. For Ethan, it was war. That morning, he learned of Miriam's firing budget cuts, they claimed. A lie. She'd left without a goodbye. In the empty cafeteria, Ethan sat, notebook open, hands trembling. Her words filled the pages. Learning is transformation. Pride is a trap. You don't need permission to become. He closed the notebook, opened a new one, and wrote for truth. The contest night arrived. The auditorium brimmed with parents in luxury coats, students in pressed suits, scouts with clipboards. Ethan stood behind the curtain in a plain navy shirt and jeans, no flash, just himself. His name was called. He stepped forward, the room hushing. "I'm Ethan Carter," he began. "Some know me as the kid who squandered everything, who didn't care, who failed. I had it all, but not what mattered. Someone who believed in me until she came along." He paused. She wasn't my teacher, not officially. She wasn't paid, had no office, just a mop and a heart big enough to see past my anger. She taught me to read between the lines of books of life. She didn't just clean floors. She cleared the fog in my mind. The crowd shifted, leaning in. But she was fired, silenced, because systems fear when someone from the bottom makes a difference. I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to honor her. He raised the notebook. She said learning is transformation. Winning isn't wealth or power. It's becoming someone worth remembering. His voice softened. She's not here, but she's in every word I speak. Winning in life means waking up, shedding your name, finding your truth, and lifting others with it. Silence, then a single clap, then a wave. The room erupted applause, tears, even from faculty. In the back, a woman with a headscarf and quiet eyes smiled, wiping a tear. Miriam. She'd returned to see him shine. Ethan wasn't a Carter that night, he was himself. The speech went viral, students, alumni, then the press. Billionaire's son credits Janitor for saving his life. The headline outshone any Carter Corporation deal. Miriam was offered speaking gigs, then a teaching post. Doors reopened, not for credentials, but for undeniable truth. Ethan passed every class with purpose, not pity. He turned down Ivy League offers for a small college focused on justice and education. Why? I want to teach like she taught me and build a place where no one begs to be seen. One sunny day in Atlanta, Ethan knocked on a modest porch, holding an envelope. Miriam answered in a simple cardigan, surprised. "You didn't need to come here." "I did," he said, handing her the envelope, his diploma, college acceptance, and a handwritten proposal. "I want to start a center where people learn like I did, with honesty, depth, no shame. I want to call it the Miriam Institute." She read it, eyes glistening. "Why me?" "Because you started this." "Only if we do it together," she whispered. "Always." Months later, the Miriam Institute opened in a repurposed community center. Classes, mentorship, late-night writing circles. Kids once discarded found second chances. Miriam taught with chalk, books, freedom. Ethan ran programs but never stopped learning. The city noticed awards, articles followed. But the true reward came when a 12-year-old student, once struggling, handed Miriam a notebook. This place made me feel smart for the first time, she cried. So did Ethan. William attended the Institute's opening, standing quietly in the back, watching his son speak of justice and humility. Afterward, they met outside. I didn't expect to cry, William admitted. I didn't expect to forgive you, Ethan replied. They embraced not as father and heir, but as men trying. Years passed. The Institute grew. At a National Education Award ceremony, Ethan took the stage. They said I failed everything until I learned one truth. Greatness isn't being seen, it's seeing others. Sometimes the greatest teacher isn't in a suit. She's holding a mop, quoting philosophers when no one listens. Her name is Miriam Brooks, and she didn't just save my grades, she saved my soul. If you're moved by stories that inspire, challenge, and amplify the unheard, hit that subscribe button below. More transformative journeys await, and we'd love you to join us.